Hey guys, this is Dave. Welcome to Gazaudio. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different from my normal review format and instead talk about a few of my favorite and most used Dacs and Daps. So my criteria is simple. These are the devices I use not only most frequently for testing IEMs and headphones, but also just for my normal listening at home and on the go. I'm going to be focusing strictly on performance and overall quality, and I'm not going to be taking price into consideration. These are simply a few of my favorite devices. I use them daily, and I feel they bring me the most listening enjoyment. Okay, the first device is something I've actually had for a while, and if you've watched my other videos, it's something I refer to quite often, not only for its sound performance, but because of its versatility and convenience. And I remember preparing for the review and comparing it to some of my other devices, and it was outperforming one device after another, even besting the Shanling UA5, which at the time was my favorite USB DAC. But in the end, this device was the last one standing, and that device is the FiiO BTR7. The BTR7 comes in at $219 and functions as both a portable USB or Bluetooth DAC. And the BTR7 has become one of my regular traveling companions. It goes with me on just about every short or long trip that I take, for a few reasons. First, because the sound performance is very good at this price. As a matter of fact, it almost rivals my new favorite USB DAC in terms of detail, but they both have very different sound presentations. The BTR7 has more of a dynamic presentation, and the other leans a little more towards the musical side. And I love them both, but the BTR7 actually has some features that add a level of convenience that the other doesn't. And those are a balanced output, Bluetooth, and a battery. So again, while the BTR7 sounds great, those added features just add another level of convenience that make it perfect for traveling, in my opinion. Not to mention the build quality is excellent, and it comes with a great protective cover. So even after all this time, the BTR7 still remains one of my favorite USB Bluetooth DACs. Okay, so the second device we're going to be taking a look at, well, it's a very simple device. As a matter of fact, it's very small. It doesn't even have a balanced output, it doesn't have a battery, and it really doesn't even have that much power. And to be honest, I actually feel like it's kind of overpriced, which is probably why it'll never end up in one of my top budget pick videos. But you know what? I just can't seem to put this crazy thing down. I use it nearly every day, and like the BTR7, it goes on almost all of my trips with me. And that device is the Hibi FC6. The Hibi FC6 comes in at $299, and it's actually the most expensive USB dongle style DAC that I own currently. And I have a few of them. So at that price, and with it having so few common features, how can I really justify calling this one of my favorite devices? So despite it lacking in some of the other common features that maybe some of the competition has, it actually has some pretty uncommon attributes that I feel set it apart from the competition. And that is its R2R and Darwin architecture. And the FC6 is only one of two USB dongle style DACs to offer R2R architecture, the other being the KN RU6, and I think they're actually coming out with RU7 as well. So if you own a dongle style USB DAC, chances are it uses the typical Delta Sigma style DAC chip, and those are great. But the R2R DACs process the audio signal in a very different way, and from what I understand, it processes the incoming signal using a resistor ladder network, and the incoming signal just simply doesn't go through as much conversion as it does using the other Delta Sigma technology. But I believe the idea is, again, from what I understand, that R2R is simply a more pure method of processing the incoming audio signal. And again, I'm not an audio engineer, so I don't really understand how it works, but I can definitely hear a difference, especially with some of my higher end IEMs. And if I had to try to describe what that difference was, I could only describe it as having a more analog or more natural presentation as opposed to a digital presentation. And I will link my review in the description if you're interested in hearing my full take on it. But the bottom line is there is something special about this simple device. Instruments sound really natural, and again, the overall presentation is what I can only describe as having a distinctive analog presentation. And it's something I don't hear in any of my other 30 or so DACs, with the exception of my RS2 and my R26 home audio DAC streamer, which uses the R2R architecture. And the FC6 still has all of the other attributes you look for in a quality device, like good dynamics, accurate tone and timbre, and good technical performance. So while the FC6 might lack in some more common features, there's something about its distinctive R2R sound that just pulls me in and engages me just a little more. And it's different enough of an experience from my other DACs that I genuinely get the sense that I'm listening to something that's uniquely engineered and crafted, and I'm actually hearing the difference. And it's really enjoyable. So hopefully all of that makes sense and helps explain why the Hibby FC6 is now one of my favorite portable USB DACs. Okay, so moving on to my last device. So this device is actually my portable reference device. I also have a desktop reference setup, but I use this device more frequently because I can take it anywhere I want. And I know its sound performance, while not necessarily being par excellence, is still very, very good. And it is worthy of a higher end IEM or headphone like the Cadenza 12. So in terms of pure sound performance, it's good enough for me to use as a reference source. And while it's not cheap at $1,000, it's still not $2,000 or $3,000 like some of the other flagship devices on the market. And that device is the FiiO M15S digital audio player. So again, the FiiO M15S comes in at $1,000 and is considered to be a sub-flagship DAP. The FiiO M17 is the current flagship DAP. But I've heard the M17, and while it does give you slightly better technical performance and dynamics, especially with full-size headphones, with IEMs, that difference, while noticeable, it just isn't significant enough for me to justify spending the extra money. And the truth is, in my opinion, the M15S's sound quality is unquestionably refined enough to bring the best out in most any flagship level IEM. So the sound quality is not necessarily top tier, but pretty close, so it's more than adequate for my review purposes. However, I do wish it had a more current Android version. If I had one complaint, that would be it. But Android 10, while not being perfect, it is still a viable option, and it's definitely smooth enough and responsive enough for use with these types of applications. And it actually does come with some pretty excellent features like desktop mode, rune mode, and it also comes with a very useful cooling stand. Not to mention the design is, again, very cool, and the build quality is simply excellent. But the most important thing for me was to be able to have a portable reference player that I can not only use in different parts of my home for testing IEMs and headphones and not be tied down to my desk, but also something I can just bring along on a trip so I can have a near top tier audio experience anywhere I go. And the M15S simply provides that. And that's why it's one of my absolute favorite portable audio devices. So there you have it, 3 of my most used and most enjoyed DAPs and DACs. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you're new to the Gazaudio channel and you like our videos, please take a minute and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to go a step further with your support, we also now have a Patreon. I'll make sure and leave a link in the description. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like this video. Please share this video. I hope you have an awesome day.